Welcome to this second session of the summary of second Adhyaya of Srimad Bhagavad. We'll start with the gratitude towards the Lord, without whose grace this is not possible. The Guru lineage, Guru Shishya Parampara, our Guruji, Param Pujya Guruma. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaniyam Sarvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in this session of the summary, we will discuss the summary of the three previous talks. One was on the Karmayoga, second was the Sthitapragna, part 1, the questions and the initial two answers of the Lord, and then the third talk was on the Sthitapragna, part 2, which was mainly on the Indriya Sanyam, which is from the shlokas 60 to 72. So let us start with first the Karmayoga shlokas. Main Karmayoga principles are given in the second Adhyaya, whereas the Vistar of the Karmayoga or the more detailed description of the Karmayoga is given in the third Adhyaya. The first 47 and the 48 are the most important shlokas of the Karmayoga, and that is the main teaching of the Upadesha. 49th, Lord criticizes the selfish person and shows us what are the selfless actions and its ultimate fruit, and finally the highest attainment in life and how to prepare for that. So these are the shlokas of the Karmayoga. The second was the Sthitapragna, shlokas 54 to 60, where Arjuna asks 4 questions. That who is Sthitapragna? How does he behave? How does he talk? How does he conduct in this life? How does he live in this world? A person who is deeply rooted in wisdom. And then the Lord answers that we have to first let go of our desires, maintain a samatva, equipoise, unattached to all the surroundings, the fruits of the action, and Indriya Sanyam, the mind control, is very important. And finally, complete detachment by total surrender to the Lord. And the second part of the Sthitapragna is on Indriya Sanyam, where Lord gives an example of Kurmungani va Sarvashaha, the turtle, then tells us the 8 steps how a person can be ruined, and then Prasada Buddhi, how it leads to Nivrutti, Dukkha, Nivrutti, and then Updesha for Indriya Sanyam, attitude of the person who is firmly rooted in knowledge and the ultimate goal of the life, Moksha and Brahmi Sthiti. So this is all the second part of the second Adhyaya. The first part was more about the Updesha part of the Jnana, the Dharma, and now next is the Karma Yoga. So let's just talk about what is Karma, what is Karmatha, and what is Karma Yoga. Now Karma, just doing Karma is not necessarily means Karma Yoga. We feel that while we are in our work, in our life, we do Karma Yoga, but this is not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, what is been described by Lord Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, is completely different attitude. So a lot of people feel that they are very busy in their life, they are so workaholic, they want to do so many things, they want to achieve so much, want to have success. They are the people who are doing Karma Yoga, but they are not the people who do Karma Yoga. They are the people who are Karmatha. So Karma Yoga is essentially the inner attitude. What is that attitude? Shri Krishna describes in this part of the Karma Yoga. What is that attitude that makes karma into Karma Yoga? And Karma Yoga, essentially, when you attach the word yoga with the karma, it means that you join with the eternal consciousness, the Lord or the God. And with this, when you join this, there is an element of devotion, a surrender, which comes along with karma. So karma, essentially with this bhakti, forms the Karma Yoga. So bhakti is not separately described in Bhagavad Gita, but Karma Yoga is essentially considered as part of karma with the bhakti. Now, according to the Lord, according to His vision, there are 2 types of karma. One is the selfish karmas and the others are the selfless karmas. So all the selfish karmas are in the language of our scriptures called Sakama Karma, where we always have some kind of a likes or attachment towards the karma phala, the fruits of the action, what we are going to achieve, what we are going to try and get ultimately. So all these are called Sakama Karma, where we always are, we think about what we will get if we do this, what we will get, what will be my benefit, what will I get, what will I, acquire. Will it be money, power, fame, name, whatever. And so this then produces what is called as a raga, dvesha, the likes and the dislikes, attractions and the repulsions. And this raga, dvesha are the root cause of all our other desires, kamana, and then it drives us into karma. And then this cycle continues, because the more we do karma, karma phala, sanskara, raga, dvesha, kamana, karma, samsara, all these becomes what is called as a samsara bandhana. And this is the cause for the bondage of the karma, because karma is considered to be a tool for bondage. But karma, the same karma, can become a tool for liberation. How? If it is done with a different perspective, with a different attitude, as what Lord Krishna says, what is called as a Nishkama Karma, which is also one of the pillars of Karmayog. So Nishkama Karma means selfless actions, where the selfish motive, our own selfish motive, is not involved in the karma. And this liberates us from the raga, dvesha, which are one of the main problems that we all have. And here, not only the selfish motive is not there, but along with this, the ego or the pride should also be annihilated. Only with this actions will become completely selfless and will be a cause for liberation. So karma se hi sansar bandhan and karma se hi sansar nivrutti, means that karma are the only ones with which we are bound with this world, and karma are the only sadhan for us, tools to liberate us also. So the way we do the karma, that is important, and that is what Shri Krishna describes in Karmayog. Now there is a link to this Karmayoga Prakarana in the second Adhyaya, from the Jnana Uddesha to Dharma Uddesha, and this is the link. These are the link shlokas. Then in the 38th shloka, Lord Shri Krishna says that Sukha Dukhe Same Krutva Labha Labhau Jaya Jayau Tato Yudhaya Yudjasva Naivam Papa Bhavapsyasi, means that we should become samatva, have samatva or equipoise or balance in labha, alabha, jaya, ajaya, success, failure, benefit, loss. In all this we should have the same equipoise, samatva bhavana, because it is very important for beginning of Karma Yoga. And then he says, Esha te vihita sankhya buddhi yoge tuvam shuru. And this, in this shlok, the topic is changed from Jnana Yoga to Karma Yoga. He says, I have told you about the Sankhya Buddhi. Now I am going to talk to you, Arjuna, about the Karma Yoga, the Yoga path of the Karma Yoga, with which, if you practice this, you will be liberated. Karma bandham prahasyasi, means you will be liberated from all this karma and samsara. And then in the 40th shlok, Lord Shri Krishna says that Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahate bhayat, means that even if you do anything little bit on this path, on the spiritual path, even little steps, small baby steps, give us a lot of benefit. Of course, that is not seen evidently immediately, because we are all used to quick results, fast results, but that does not happen in the spiritual path. It takes years of spiritual journey to achieve some kind of a result of the Antakarana Shuddhi, peace of mind, calmness of mind, less desires. All these requires time, and we have to be on this path for a long period of time to achieve these benefits. But Lord here tells us that whatever you do on this path does not go in vain. And these are His words when He says that whatever you do never goes in vain. Even if somebody dies during this process, then his spiritual journey starts in the next life also. So that's a big solace for all the seekers, that nothing goes in vain. And the other shlokas are Vyavasaya Apnika Buddhihi Ekeha Kurunandana Bahushakha Yanantyascha Buddhayo Vyavasayinam. So here the Lord Krishna says that you must have one pointed buddhi or goal. If it is a Vyavasaya Apnika Buddhi, means it's a one pointed intellect where there is only one goal and you are going towards that goal. That is what he desires. Bahushakha yanantyasya. If it's there are lots of thoughts, lots of things, lots of desires, lots of things to be achieved. There is no one pointed goal, you want to do this also, this. So there is no clarity of goal. Then this is something that does not help the person. And that avyavasaya apnika buddhi, he says, what happens? These are the people who remain in the bhoga of this world. So, in the 42, 43, 44 shlokas, it talks about the yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha vedavad ratah partha nanyadastiti vadinaha. So, in all this, he says, what are these people? These people who are in bhoga, yoga, they are always in their sense pleasures. They are always doing some or the other work to continue doing lots of desires. They have lots of goals. They have lots to do. They want to do so many things in this life. And ultimately, they just want to enjoy life, sense pleasures. Bhogeshwarya gatim prati bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya payata chetasam vyavasaya apnika buddhi samadhauna vidhiyate. Means they do not attain their ultimate goal of life. These are the people who cannot attain their ultimate goal of life because they are all the time only in the sense pleasures. They are, in this bhoga vritti, and that does not help them or liberate them, and they will continue to remain in this world. And finally, in the 45th shloka, he shows the ultimate goal for Arjuna. Traigunya vishaya veda, nistraigunyo bhavarjuna, nidvandvo, nitya sattvasto, niryoga kshema atmavan. Where he says that, you rise, Arjuna, you rise above all these worldly three gunas, the sattva, rajas and the tamas are the three gunas of the world through which the world is made, and all of us have these gunas through which we operate, and all the worldly things are made up with these three gunas. So he says, Arjuna, you rise above this, you transcend this three gunatmika samsara and rise above and become nirdvandva. Nirdvandva means rise above all these dualities and make the dvandva as the same. Nitya sattvasto means that you be, steep into this sattva guna. Niryoga kshema. Yoga means to acquire something, and kshema means to preserve whatever we have acquired. So don't worry about all this yoga kshema. Bhagavan says, I will take care of all these yoga kshema. He will take care. And then he says, Atmavan bhava. Atmavan bhava means be proactive. Do your best. Be prayatnashil. Do the best you can. You have a lot of Atma Bala, self-confidence. Use this and get onto this path and try put in your best efforts. So with this, these are all the linked shlokas to Karma-yoga. And actually, the Karma-yoga shloka is the main shloka, is this 47th shloka, which is the most important and the most well-known shloka. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetu bhuhu ma te sangosva karmani. So this is called the Chatursutri shloka of Karma-yoga. Chatursutri means it has 4 sutras. And these are the 4 sutras. Karmane eva adhikarate means karma mein hi tera adhikar hai. Second is ma phaleshu kadachana, karma ke phal mein kabhi bhi hamara adhikar nahi hai. Means we don't have a right to the karma phala. Ma karma phala hetu bhuhu. Tu karma phal ka hetu na bane. And mate sangosva akarmani means akarma mein kabhi tera sang na ho. These are the 4 sutras. I'll just talk about each sutra because these are all very important to understand. This is the foundation or the pillar of the Karma Yoga. What Lord is going to say in the 3rd Adhyaya. He says, tera karma mein koi adhikar sirf karma mein hai. Means you have a choice or you have a right only in action. So Lord says that you have been given everything. When you are born, you are given everything. Now that you have grown up, you have everything given to you. Now you have to do your duty, your karma, your kartavya, your dharma karma in the best possible way. Because this is the only area or this is the only territory where there is your own free will. I can decide what I want to do, what I don't want to do. So this is my area of free will, purushartha. So this is my territory, and karma or actions is only our territory. That's what the Lord says in this first sutra. It's very clear that if you want to try, whether we should try or not, whether we have fear of failure or not, whether we start the action or not, that is all that what we can decide. The second sutra is Ma Phaleshu Kadachan. Means karma phal mein kabhi agra ya jid na ho. Meaning we should not have attachment towards our karma phala or the choices in the results or the outcomes of the action, because these are the things that we can't determine. As human beings, we don't have the right or the choice to determine what will be the outcome of whatever karma we do. So the meaning is not that we should not desire for the results. The meaning is that we can desire for the results, and of course, we always do desire for the results when we start doing some karma, but we cannot insist on the result. We cannot say that, we cannot be obsessed to the result, that it has to be like this. If I do this, I must get this. This is obsession, should not be there. And that this territory, karma phala, Lord says that this is not your territory. This is the territory of the destiny. You call it the nature, you call it God, karma phala theory. You say karma phala theory, whatever. But it is the territory of the Almighty. This is not something that we have a control over. So we only have control over the karma. Karma phala is, we don't have any control. It is the Lord's control. Ma karma phala hetu bhu means you don't become a hetu or a reason for karma phala. Now here the understanding is that our karma creates karma phala, and this creates the roots or the sanskaras for our next janma. So our next janma is also dependent on our karma. This is what our philosophy tells us. So this sansara, janma, karma, bandhana, samsara, this chakra, it is we all are in this chakra. So he says that don't do your karma in such a way that you build a new sansara and you build your new janma. So do your karma in such a way that it liberates you from this sansara or this bandhana. That is the idea. So do your actions with the right understanding, in selfless manner, Nishkama Karma, and do it in such a way that it does not bind you and create more samsara, more janma, more and more samsara for you. So that's what Lord says here, Ma karma phala hetu bhu. You don't become the root cause for all your samsara and karma phala and bandhana. And the final, Mate sangostu akarmani. Don't be attached to inaction. Inaction means laziness, akarma. Don't be lazy. Don't run away from your actions. Do your duty. Here Arjuna in the battlefield wants to run away. He wants to renunciate. He wants to run away. He doesn't want to fight. And that's why Lord tells him, don't run away. A lot of times we also don't want to do something because we have a lot of fear. We have a fear for failure. We have, we feel that we may not succeed, or sometimes we just feel lazy. Whatever we need to do, we don't do it. So for example, our exercises, our healthy lifestyles, all these we are aware, we know, but sometimes just because of our laziness, we don't do what needs to be done. So here he says, Arjuna, you do what you need to do. Here your duty is to fight. You are a Kshatriya. This is your opportunity to fight. This is a Dharma Yuddha. You have to understand what is Dharma, what is Adharma, and do your best. And make the best use of this human life, this opportunity which has been given to you. The next shloka is also a very important shloka of the Karmayoga. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktava dhananjaya siddha siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Here Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna that samatva hi yoga hai. Yogastha kuru karmani means you be committed in karma yoga and don't be attached to the results of the actions of the karma phala, and be equipoise in success, failure, sukha, dukkha, in all these dualities of the world. Remain samatva, and samatva, equipoise, is the essence of karma yoga. So that is what Lord tells here. That is also very important teaching. Samatvam yoga uchyate, sameness. Sameness cannot be in action, because actions are all different. We do all different kinds of action in our day-to-day world. So sameness is in the karma phala. Whenever we accept a karma phala, we should accept it with the same bhavana, that our feeling that we have inside should be the same. That whatever it is, even it is success or failure, we take it in the same stride. That is the idea. And for this to happen, we have to connect with the God. If we connect with the God, we believe that Ishwar is the Karmadhyaksha, means he is the person who observes our karma, and he is the karma phala data, means that he is the person or who decides the fate because of his karma phala theory. The nature is the law of the nature, how it has been made. So if we understand this and connect with this divinity, then we surrender to the Lord with this Ishwararpana bhav, Smarana bhav. We always remember him while doing action. We remember him, Nam Smaran karte rahe. While this we do, while in action, we remain free from all the anxieties, worries and attachments of the past and the future, and accept the karma phala as a prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi is something when we accept them, prasada, from the temple, we always accept whatever comes to us and then we share with everyone and then accept it. So with this kind of an acceptance, if we accept the karma phala or the fruits of the action, if with the samatva bhavana, sameness feeling, equipoise or balance, then this is one of the main pillars of karma yoga. Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvicha krupana phala hetava. So in this shlok, Shri Krishna says, Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvicha krupana phala hetava. Means that selfless actions are inferior to the selfless actions, the karma yoga. And here Lord says, buddhau sharanam anvicha, means take help of your intellect, use your brains. And with this understanding, with this discriminating intellect, which is also called viveka, we should work with the results in the mind. Those who don't work like this, they are ignorant or they are the miser people. So Lord talks about buddhau sharanam anvicha, you take help, surrender to your intellect, use your brains. Because here this is a path of knowledge. We have to understand that only by understanding, we should not get carried away by emotions, and our head should always be above our heart. So with this understanding, we should take the shelter of the Lord, shelter of the Guru who can give us this knowledge, and we must develop a one-pointed intellect or intelligence. And ultimately, most of your sadhana is for the antakarana shuddhi, purity of the mind, because that will all lead us towards the knowledge. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute tasmat yogaya yuchasva yoga karma sukhaushalam. So here says that use your intellect so that you don't create too much of papa, punya, or and perform karma yoga. And here it says that yoga karma sukhaushalam means do your action very cleverly. Now our Guruji tells us that this cleverness in action or this skill in action is not just the outer skill. God does not talk about these gross things, that the skill of doing the procedure in a nice way as we understand as a human beings. But this skill or this cleverness is an attitude which is done in such a way that these karmas don't bind us. They have to be done with a kind of akarta bhav, selfless feeling, or the nimitta matra bhav, which is done without the ego or the pride behind the kartapan bhavana that we have. Aham karomi or aham karta. So this, without these bhavana, if we can do this karma, and awareness in action, sajagata, is also very important. So this is what is called as a yoga karma sukhaushalam. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchante ramana. So here finally, this is the final shloka where he says padam gacchante ramana. By this, if you continue doing your karma yoga, using your intelligence, and you leave all the attachments, anxieties with the fruits of the action, karma phala, phalam tyaktva, and somebody who is conquered his mind, indriya, sanyama, man, is liberated from the cycle of birth and death and ultimately achieves the ultimate salvation. Gacchante, padam gacchante namaham means that the ultimate salvation has been achieved by this person. Padam gacchante namayam is the anamaya pad. Amaya means disease and anamaya pad is the ultimate pad, which is the atma pada or the atma swarupa or the moksha pada. And karma yoga is important because it leads us to the antakarana shuddhi, the purification of the inner self or the mind, and this antakarana shuddhi ultimately leads to our final goal, which is the atma jnana. Without antakarana shuddhi, atma jnana is not possible, and that's why karma yoga is essential. That's why it is said that karma yoga is essential for atma jnana. But this atma jnana does not occur directly. It occurs through antakarana shuddhi and then the jnana sadhana, which ultimately leads to the atma jnana. And these are the steps of the spiritual journey that Lord talks about. The samatvam yoga uchyate, yoga karma sukhaushalam, buddhau sharanam anvicha, and anamaya pada, padam gacchante namayam. So this is how we can achieve samatva, cleverly doing action, selfless action, buddhi, intellect ka sharan lekar, then we can get our antakarana pure and then go for the atma jnana. So karma yoga is a very important tool for antakarana shuddhi, for our shanti, mukti, and only with this purity of mind we can achieve the atma jnana. And then in the next two shlokas, these are the linked shlokas to the Sthitapragna portion of the Adhyaya, of the Prakarana of the Karma, of the second Adhyaya. And in this, Lord Shri Krishna tells us about the Atma Jnana. Yada te moha kalilam buddhi gati tarishyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrotavasya shrutasya cha. Means that this moha kalila, this attachment, moha, this sansar, we have to get over it. And that is only with our buddhi gati tarishyati. And tadagantasi nirvedam means of vairagya. We also have to get vairagya. So buddhi, vivek and vairagya. These are the two sadhanas he talks about in this shloka. And in the next shloka he says, Shruti pratipannate yada stasya siveshchala samadha vachala buddhi tada yogam avaksasi. Means that Shruti means Shravana. We must, listen to Vedanta Vakya from our Guruji, what is called as Shravana. And then man mein usko nishchala karna hai, that is Manana. And with this we have to do some kind of a nididhyasana, which is the third step. So this is the Jnana Sadhana. Once the Karma Yoga has happened and this purity of mind has happened, then we have to go through this Jnana Sadhana, and then one can go to what is called as a Sthitapragna. Sthitapragna is a person who is a wise person, who is already accomplished, who is already a Jnani. So the detailed description of Karma Yoga comes in the third Adhyaya, but in the second Adhyaya, after these shlokas, the Sthitapragna Prakaran starts. So let's talk about the Sthitapragna. Basically, the last 18 shlokas of the second Adhyaya describes a person who is deeply rooted in wisdom. And for the seeker, it is very important because it shows us the goals that where we have to reach. And many people have written books, including Vinoba Bhave and Gandhiji, about this ultimate knowledge, this fullness of life, and our attitude, what can happen, what is the kind of internal understanding of this Sthitapragna person who completely accepts without any complaints and is at a total, complete peace of mind. He is all the bliss that life can offer. So as previously described, the ultimate goal is the Atma Jnana, Moksha. But the most important step in the sadhana is the Antakarana Shuddhi. And most of the sadhana is done for the Antakarana Shuddhi. So karma is the most important tool for cleaning of our Antakarana by doing Dharma Karma, Nishkama Karma, Bhakti Karma, devotion, and then finally to the Jnana Yoga. And ultimate realization has to happen is the Tattvamasi of the Mahavakya, Tat Tvam and Asi. So the Jiva has to feel the oneness with the Paramatma, and this can happen only with the Brahmakara Vritti, finally the Atma Jnana, which leads to the Moksha. So this is the part of the sadhana. Whatever is Siddha, means already is there, is Atma or the Brahma. So that is already there. We just need to know it. It is already there. It is not to be achieved or not to be obtained. The sadhaka is the person who does this journey. And sadhya is the goal. Ultimately, the goal is Antakarana Shuddhi, which is not there. So that has to be achieved. And there are three impurities of the mind for which these three paths are given to us. One is the Mala. Mala are all the impurities, Raga, Dvesha, and all the other Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, everything, all the Shadaripu. And these are only taken care by Karma Yoga. The Vikshepa. Vikshepa means the mind is very, very active. It is not quiet, it is not peaceful, it is not calm. So that's the main problem of the mind. Chanchala. It's very chanchala. And this can only be quietened by bhakti or devotion, by one pointed focus or concentration in the Lord. This can be calm. And then the third is the avaran. Avaran is the envelope or the layer or the layers that surround and this avidya or the ignorance, ajnana. So that is the main problem which can only be dealt with, or it can only be relieved by the jnana or the knowledge. So that is the jnana yoga. So these are the three impurities for which the three tools has been shown by the Lord. Now, Sthitapragna is the person who is already jnani, is already, for him everything, whatever is been described is all effortless because he is already accomplished. For him it is all sahaja. But for the sadhaka, for the seeker, this is all prayatanshil. He has to make efforts to accomplish these. So all these Sthitapragna shlokas are important because they show that to the seeker that these are all the milestones on his path of the spiritual journey. It starts with the 54th shloka where Arjuna asks 4 questions to the Lord about how Sthitapragna, what are his attributes, what would be his response, what is kind of his mind, how does he, exercise mind control, and how does he conduct on this world. So these are the 4 questions. Ka bhasha, kim prabhasheta, kim asita, kim vrajeta, All these 4 questions are asked. And then Lord starts answering each question to Arjuna. The first answer is that Sthitapragna, when he gives up all the desires as they appear in the mind, Rajahati Sadak Yada Kaman Sarvan Parthamanogatan Atmannev Atmana Tushtaha Sthitapragnaste Dochyate. So he is the person who is completely happy in his own self, because he has a complete bliss, he has known that. And that is the person who is called Sthitapragna, because he does not have to rely on happiness for outside, for the worldly persons or relationships or objects for becoming happy. He is all happy all by himself or herself. The second prashna is Kim Prabhashyata, how does he speak or respond? And Lord answers here, says Dukkeshwanam Dvignamanaha Sukheshu Vigata Spruhaha Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Sthitadhi Muni Vruchite. Means that he is not agitated if there is any grief or sorrow, and he does not have any longing for happiness. He is free from attachment, fear and anger, and that wise person is called Sthitapragna. So he is rooted in Samatva Bhava. Whether it is Dukkha, Sukha, he has the same bhavana. He is not perplexed or upset about all these dualities of life. Yaha sarvatra nabhisneha tat prapya shubhashubham navinandati na dveshti tatsya pragna pratishtita. Means he is not much affected by too much of love, affection, attachment, or does not, whenever some auspicious thing or inauspicious thing happens to him, Shubha Shubham, he does not get too much of attachment. And he does not rejoice too much in success, nor does he become too upset or depressed in failures. And that is the person who is deeply rooted in firm knowledge. So that is a Sthitapragna person. So here Guruji explains how the Dukkha, Sukha, how it happens. There are 3 steps. One is a nimitta, some instrumental cause or causal relationship. Vritti, or the feelings that happen. And third is the Tadatmya, or the association with this Sukha, Dukkha. So whenever we have some kind of a Dukkha, maybe a thought or maybe a physical injury or something, this Dukkha, that feelings happen, and then we get associated with this and we feel the Dukkha. The Ajnani person, he feels that I am Dukhi or I am Dukhi. But the Gnani person feels that, this Dukkha is in his body. He is the person who is, he does not have, he is the Sakshi, he is the observer of this Dukkha or the Sukha. So that is how he dissociates from. Tadatmya is not there for the Gnani Purush, and for the Ajnani Purush there is the Tadatmya. So the first 2 steps are common for Gnani, Ajnani, but the third step is different for Ajnani and the Gnani. Ajnani gets attached to his body, to his Dukkha, his mind, whereas the Gnani knows that he is the observer of all this and does not get attached to him. So these are all the assets of a seeker in the relationship. He is asanga, non-attached. He is honest. He has a lot of integrity. In his mind, he is equipoise, samata, and in his gnan, he is, has oneness or ekata. So these are all the assets of a Sthitapragna Purusha. Now let's come to the last part of the Sthitapragna Prakaran. This is about the Indriya and the Ban Sanyama. The second part, where Lord starts with the beautiful example of the turtle. Yada samharate chayan kurvongani sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyaha tasya prajna pratishtita. Means that the turtle, how he withdraws all his limbs. Sthitapragna also withdraws all his sense organs whenever he sees a lot of sense objects. So he does not just go around in the sense pleasures. And that is a person who is firmly rooted in wisdom. So he is quite aware. He has an equipoise, sanyama, balance, control, and he uses his intellect and his buddhi to decide whether this is good for him or not, whether to indulge in this sense pleasure, whether will it take him to his ultimate goal or not. All this is, he takes care. He is aware about all this. He or she, that person is aware about these things. And then Shri Krishna says that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha srasavarjam rasopyasya param drashtva nivartate. Means that the rasa is still there, even though you have controlled your mind, but the rasa is still there inside, and that only can be relieved by param drashtva nivartate. This nivrutti happens only when you see the Paramatma Tattva or the Lord. If you get one with that Tattva, then only you can get relieved of this rasa inside. So this desire can only be relieved by knowing of the Almighty. Yatato yapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramatini haranti prasadam mana. This shloka tells us about the power of the sense organs. They are so powerful. Even for the person who is a seeker, even for a person who is aware, even for a person who uses his intellect, the sense organs are so powerful that they take away the mind also by force. Haranti prasadam mana. So that's why Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasya indriyani kasya pragna pratishtita. Means that you control all your sense organs, and remain in equipoise or samatva and have a firm resolution. And if you keep your sense organs under control, then only you will be able to be deeply rooted in this knowledge or this wisdom, kasya pragna pratishtita. And then in the next two shlokas, he shows us the 8 steps of ruining our life, destroying our own self, how Adhyayato Vishayan Punsa. It starts with the person thinking about the objects, and then he feels that this will give me happiness, raga. And then if he doesn't get that, he becomes krodha, anger. And if he gets that object, then he wants to keep it with him, becomes attached to this object, moha. So all this intense desire, and all this, so till this stage it is all reversible still, and if we handle our mind properly, we can still reverse this problem. But if this does not happen, then this anger turns into delusion, moha, and then it causes smriti vibramaha. The memory is lost, whatever we have learned, whatever we have understood, all this is lost, and then it affects the intellect, the buddhi, kamni karti. We can do something which we never thought we can do, and when we are too angry, so that intellect is destroyed. And with this destruction of the intellect, the person, his humanity, his humanness is destroyed. So he becomes like an animal, because he would go and go ahead and do anything, like he will become violent, he will probably do something which he would never have thought that he could do. So this is how a person is ruined, and this destruction is irreversible. So ye patan ke sopan hai, 8 sopan hai, they are the steps where we can ruin ourselves, and we have to be very aware at each and every step, right from the first step, which is the Adhyayato Vishayan Punsa, when we should not get all the time attached to the sense objects, because this is from where it starts. And then the 4th question, how does he walk, how does he conduct his life? Raga dvesha vyuktaistu vishayan indriyashcharan atma vashyai videher atma prasada vadikachati. Means that the raga dvesha are the main problems through which our sense enters into the objects, and with these strong likes and dislikes, they are the root cause of all the miseries. So if you keep your senses under control and your mind under control, if with this control we relate with the objects, then only we can achieve peace or tranquility, which is called prasada buddhi, prasada. So only this is possible by remaining in indriya and the manas sanyama. And again, Shri Krishna shows how powerful the indriya is. He says, Indriyanam hicharata. Indriyas, the sense organs, keep grazing, keep going around from one place to another. That is his nature. And it also takes the mind, and then it kidnaps the intellect also. Just like the wind takes away the boat into the ocean or into the river. Similarly, this powerful sense organs, they will kidnap not only they will go, but they will also take your mind and your intellect along with them. So that's why he says, Tasmadasya Mahabaho, Nigruhitani Sarvashaha. Keep everything, all your sense organs under control. Indriya Anindriyatebhyaha Tasya Pragna Pratishtita. Only if you have all your sense organs under control, each and every one, then only you will get into this knowledge, and you will become steadfast in this knowledge, in this wisdom, which is the ultimate knowledge. And in the second last shloka, 71st shloka, Shri Krishna says, Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumansh charati nispuha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashanti vadikachati. Means that the person who knows his true or inner complete self, all these desires are gone, and the person does not have any longing. That attachment is also gone, and with this attachment, the ego, the pride, that this is what I am, this is what I can do, this is mine, all these our ego, pride is also gone. And this is the person who can feel truly the bliss within. The eternal bliss can only be felt by such a person. And finally, the last shloka, Lord Shri Krishna talks about the Brahmi Sthiti, what is the ultimate goal, how it can be reached. He has shown already the path, and once we reach this and attain the Brahmi Sthiti, what is it? Param Lakshya, the moksha. He says once this stage, the Param Brahmi Sthiti or the Brahma Swarupa is reached, it is attained, there is no attachment, there is no illusion, nothing is left, and there is no going back. There is once Nainam Prapya na Vibhurite, means you don't go back to your moha. Once you achieve this, then you are steadfast in this and you are still in this. Just for example, suppose somebody learns swimming or cycling, he would remember this for his lifetime. Similarly, when somebody achieves this stage where this, this Atma Swarupa Gnana is already there, then it is, it is assimilated inside that person. Then there is no going back. Even if one achieves this stage at the end of the life, even just before the end of the life, Anta Kalepi, even then that person will achieve liberation from this cycle of birth and death, achieve liberation from all the karmas, all the samsara, and all these miseries, pain, and all these limitations that we feel in our life all the time. So with this, the moksha and the mukti is not to be attained after death. According to Vedanta, it has to be attained during this lifetime, and this complete freedom during the lifetime is called Sadeha Mukti. And the same person, even when they die, he will have a Videha Mukti. Means even after death, there won't be any more birth, and the death, that person is liberated from this world. So with this, we come to the end of the second Adhyaya, and we will have this Adhyaya Pushpika. Shri Brahma Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayah Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Ma Shuchaha. So with this we come to the end of the second Adhyaya, and the Sarva Dharman Parityajya is the last shloka of Lord Shri Krishna's teachings, which comes in the 18th Adhyaya. So that is, it is quite, it is a tradition to speak these at the end of all the Adhyayas. And the real question for us, for our as mortals like us, is to inquire, to develop these questions about our self-inquiry. Who am I? Am I the body? Am I my mind? Am I my intellect? Am I the observer of all this? Am I the consciousness? Who am I? Am I my name? Am I the body? Who am I? So these are the earliest questions that comes to us, which starts this spiritual journey or the seeker's journey. And then the other question that comes to us is, what is the purpose of my existence? Why did I come on this world? There must be some hidden purpose, and how can I unfold this purpose? How can I reach to this purpose? And this is how the sadhana or the spiritual journey of the sadhaka is embarked upon. And this is quite a long, very, very beautiful, enjoyable journey. And in this path, sadhaka feels some very different feelings which he's probably never had in the past. The kind of calmness of mind, the kind of tranquility, the peace, the santosha, the contentment, and the awareness about our vrittis, our feelings, our attitudes, our thoughts, our ego. All these are felt as we go onto this path. It's a beautiful path for people who are there, and we all can walk on this path together to attain the final goal. Thank you all very much.